Hey guys, it's Amy here. I'm with Morgan Nelson today. Welcome, Morgan.
Hello, good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Now, Morgan is an entrepreneur. He's a bit of a young gun and he was actually financially free by the age of 23, which I know for some of us, you're like, how is that even possible? So I'm really excited to get to chat with Morgan today and really dive into his business, his success, and what has led him to what he's doing today. And I met Morgan in a pretty strange way, I think a few years ago. I was on my way back from an entrepreneur mastermind over in Hawaii. And I think it was about 4:30 in the morning. And I was so tired. I just didn't want to see or speak to anyone. And then I get on this shuttle bus and we're heading to the airport. And this guy sits next to me who just so happens to be Morgan. And then I can see him like scrolling on his phone. He's looking at all these like entrepreneur podcasts and there was some Gary Vee stuff and everything. I'm like, hold on a minute. This guy is like my kind of people. So we got to chatting. So how you doing, Morgan? What's the latest with you?
So I was literally just telling my friends that same story. I'm like, I actually met Amy in a freaking bus super early in the morning. And I'm same as you. I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, it's like, leave me alone. And like, especially when I'm traveling. So I remember that day. That was a while ago, man. That would have been coming up like 4 years. No.
Yeah,
Yeah. Something
briefly.
like that.
Yeah, nuts.
Wild. But things are good since then. Obviously, I've been traveling all around the world and doing more, impacting more, having a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm good. I'm glad I can come back here and back on your show.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'd love you to, just to kick off with filling everyone in, maybe in a little bit of your story. Like, what was it that made you get started in entrepreneurship? Because you were quite young when you started. I remember you sharing, and you've got a really cool story. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about, what was the catalyst for you to really get into entrepreneurship and what sort of led you to what you're doing today?
Yeah, well, the two main things was I was just dissatisfied.
Yeah.
I was dissatisfied where I was, and I wanted more. Um, but I think everybody has that. I think everyone's probably got a level of dissatisfaction of where they are, how much they make, their level of freedom, their level of fun in their life, relationship, everything. And of course, if you're asking me, do you want more? Do you want to have more, be more, do more? That of course say yes. But it really comes down to, well, are you interested in it or are you committed to it?
Mm,
And like, I'm just massively obsessed with tapping into the most potential of myself I can in this lifetime. Like, it's just what drives me. So like, I don't think there'll ever be a level of like, oh, I'm happy where I am or I'm content here. Cause it's like, holy crap, I've done this. Imagine what I could do next.
yeah.
I'm just so obsessed on that. But where it all kind of started was, I was 21 years old. I was an apprentice carpenter and I was just making no money, man. I was an apprentice and I was broke. But like every single human, I had dreams when I was younger, right? And then society molded me in a way to believe that I couldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. I can't have that, and all that. And maybe I should just conform, go and get a job, go into the trade, work hard, work until the day you die, right? That's essentially the way society conditions us and sets us up to live our life.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a rebel and I've always kind of challenged that. I just thought, I was like, well, I don't want to do something that doesn't make me happy. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be on this earth for a while. What's the point of doing something that doesn't bring me happiness? So I was always just kind of looking for different ways, keeping my eyes open for ways to make some extra money. But like what we've all heard before, in order to get ahead in life, you have to work hard. It's got to be working hard. You got to work hard. So I thought physically working hard, working on a building site 60 to 70 hours a week, yet I was broke every single week still.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine he introduced me to network marketing. And I had no idea what it was at the time,
Yeah.
but he was pretty successful. He was doing so much better than me at life. So he's somebody that falls into the category of I take advice from, right? And that's how I've just always lived my life. If someone, and I think so many people can get caught up in this ego thing, because especially like I'm quite young, and sometimes people in my team or people I've coached or worked with before are a lot older than me, and a lot of them are really incredible because they drop their ego and they understand that I've got what they want and they listen to what I say. But so often people can get caught up with not wanting to listen to something because they're younger or whatever, they're not the same as them.
Yeah.
But it's not for that. If you can look through someone and actually see, do they have the results that I want in life? If they do, listen to them. And that's something I've always done. I've always just left my ego at the door. So when Reese first told me about network marketing, I had no idea what it was. And I went and had a look at it. And like some people, I thought it was a scam, thought it was a cult, I thought it was all this crap. And
Yeah.
And what I noticed was I just had really big opinions, but a very little bank account. And that's the direct correlation all the time as well. I always see people have got all the excuses in the world, all the reasons not to, all the reasons to knock other people or say why things won't work or make up stories and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're always broken, unhappy. It just is, it's like, so I saw this and I just actually saw it as a way to make some extra money on the side. I just saw it as like, this is a really cool thing I could do part-time while I'm working full-time. I could learn the skills, start working on myself and doing all this. And, I started doing that. I started putting in all the work and I was failing forward.
Yeah.
Like I was so crap at this in the beginning. Like we are at everything. Like we go through this cycle, the four areas of growth, where it's like first we start, we're unconsciously unconfident, where we're like, ignorance on fire. I'm going to kill this. I'm the best. And then usually about 2 weeks in, we hit the next phase, which is consciously unconfident. We're like, oh my God, I suck at this.
Yeah.
And most people sit here. And this is where the dream's going to die.
Yeah.
Most people stay there and they go, oh, crap, I'm actually really crap at this. And then they compare to someone who's gone through the journey. They compare up here and they're like, oh my God, they're so much better than me. Look at that. Blah, blah, blah. I can never do that. But they compare the end result. They don't compare the journey that they went through. And then what happens is then they get distracted by the next shiny object. Oh, I'm going to start this one. And they get unconsciously unconfident again. Oh, I'm really excited. 2 weeks later, they're in the dip again. And they're like, oh, shit.
Exactly.
And they keep repeating, right?
Exactly. I think people have this idea in their head, right? We've all seen that graph, right? Where if you picture like a little axis here and then you see success just going up like this, right? And then we've seen the other graph where we see an axis like this and we see success just is like this journey, right? And it's crazy, right? Because we all want that upward curve where we just think it's going to be really nice and it's just going to evolve and everything's just going to happen, right? And I love your point from earlier when you said that level of obsession and that level of commitment, because I think sometimes for people when they sort of dabble in things, it's exactly what you just described there in terms of they get to that point of friction in their journey or they get to that point of resistance. And if it's not something that you're obsessed and committed to, the easy option is just to back out, right? We're humans and that's the easy option. But when you've got that level of obsession, you can kind of just like, put that backpack on with a parachute and take that leap of faith and just hope to God your parachute opens.
Yeah, like when you're all in,
yeah,
you got no other option but to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so often people are 99% in. Like you've got a partner, right? Imagine if he came home and he says to you, baby, I'm 99% sure you're the woman of my dreams. I want to get married to you.
Slap. No.
You get a freaking slap, right? And you're like, and he's probably like, and most guys listening is, what the hell? He's 99%. That's quite good, right? Yeah. But it's not the 99, it's that 1% more.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that matters, and I think that's why so many people, like once you're all in, it's actually quite easy.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Because you just make decisions fast. Is it in my vision or is it not? Yes or no? But when you're so undecided, it's you're half in, you're half out. You're only interested in creating what you want to create. You're not committed. You're not obsessed.
Absolutely. And I think, to your point, confidence plays a role there as well. And, for a lot of people, they think, well, once I'm confident, then I will do X, Y, Z. Or once I'm confident, then I'll pick up the phone and ring that ideal client. Or once I'm confident, then I'll go talk to a strategic partner. But it's actually the opposite that I've found in terms of like doing the action steps builds your confidence over time. So I'd love to hear from your perspective, like when you were taking that leap of faith, what was it for you in terms of that mindset shift or maybe that role of confidence that played, when you're kind of leveling up in that beginning of your journey?
Yeah. Well, you just hit nail on the head. There's no confidence going to come. Yeah. So if you say to me, Morgan, are you confident that you could build a 6-figure business again? I'd say absolutely. Yeah. And I'll do it fast. But if you said to me, Morgan, do you think you could build a 7-figure business? I would have the belief. I'd say, yeah, I think I can do this. I hope I can do this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say with absolute confidence, yes, I can do this because I'm speaking from confidence. I haven't done that yet. I will this year though. And so we'll do this a year from now and we'll be like, okay, yeah, it's done. So yeah.
We'll catch up next year.
Yes. Because that's the thing. Confidence comes from the completion where you can look back and stand back and be like, yeah, I'm confident in my ability to do that because there's the results.
Yeah.
But before that comes, it's really about tapping into the belief that it's attainable. You know, you look at Roger Bannister. No one ever broke the 4-minute mile. Scientists thought it was scientifically impossible to do that.
Yeah.
And he didn't have the confidence that he could do it, but he had the absolute freaking certainty and belief in his ability to do it.
Yeah.
And that can come from multiple different things. But the main thing is really just visualizing it and acting as if. It's kind of like a way to kind of hack it. It's like, how would you act today if you had the results you say you want? So if you want to create a 6-figure business, 7-figure business, how would you show up today?
Yeah.
How can you embody those habits now? And then you start to ooze this feeling of confidence because you would act as if, right? But deep down, you're not like, I'm confident in my ability. But the main thing, it's about stacking. And this is where, because you asked me, like, can I pinpoint a thing? I literally couldn't pinpoint any moment where I was like, yes. Or no, slight lie. I'll come back in a second. I could kind of give a bit of value there. But it's a journey. It's like building this muscle. It's like you can't go to the gym. I went to the gym today, right? Got my personal trainer, and he was training me this new, because I said I want to work on my core. So we started doing this new workout, super weird because working on these different muscles, right?
Yeah.
I would be insane to believe that my core is the strongest in the world now, that I'm the best, and that I'd never have to touch it ever again. That's so stupid, right? To think like, I do it one time, now I'm good. No, this is something I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm going to see him multiple times a week, indefinitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I can really do that myself. Then we'll look for something else. So it's about building this muscle, and it's the exact same thing with, you know, where does confidence come from? Courage comes first. Courage breeds confidence, and the great thing is you only need 1 step of courage. Like, I'm still not a confident speaker, but I do it a lot because every single time backstage, I'm sitting, I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I hate this. I'm feeling sick in my gut. Pump myself up, get ready. I take 1 step onto stage, and then I'm there. Because it's like point of no return. You get to the point of no return, then you've got nothing left but to have the just courage. And when you can stay there and be left with that, you got no other option but to succeed or learn. But the stacking comes from a few things. The first thing is doing the thing we said we were going to do. So often people talk about having integrity and, you know, being on time, having integrity, all that stuff. But when was the last time you broke your word to yourself? You broke your commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. This is it. New year, new me. 5 a.m. And then 5 a.m. comes and you hit the snooze button. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll sleep this an hour.
Yeah.
Or how about I'm gonna start that new diet. I'm gonna do the regime, but then you go, oh, I'm just gonna have Max Brenner with my friend.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'm gonna prospect 5 people today. And you do 3 and justify why you couldn't get 2 more. Okay, I'll do 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
What that does is it just crushes like your subconscious over and over and over. It's gonna crush your confidence. So the next time you say to yourself, I'm gonna make a 6-figure business this year, or I'm gonna do X amount of dollars in sales this month, your subconscious goes, no, you're not, because you can't even get up at 5 o'clock when you say you are. And then the belief, because if you don't have it yet, it comes from belief. You need to have belief in order to get it. If you don't believe that you're going to get it, you're going to take really shitty action. You're going to get really shitty results. And the results are then going to reaffirm your belief in the beginning. See, I'm actually not that good. I'll have it. Maybe I should quit. I'll stay in this little dip area. I'm not that good. It's reserved for other people. So I always say to people all the time when they're like, how do I build more confidence? Start doing the thing you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Long after the feeling in which you said it has gone. So if I commit to you right now and say like, yeah, I want to let's do this, or I'll do this next week, and then next week comes around, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Well, guess what? I made that commitment to myself, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And this starts to breed more confidence in ourselves. That when we actually say bigger things, we believe ourselves. We say, well, of course, because you're a person of your word.
Yeah.
So of course, you got to do it.
Exactly.
And the second thing is the more we win. This is the thing I've just found out lately, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Think about
the birds are excited about it as well behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're cheering for you to tell us number 2.
So think about when we watch State of Origin, right?
Yeah.
Watch State of Origin. You see one team massively losing. Okay. But then what could happen is they get one try. They get a few points on the board. what does that do to them? That's
Mm-hmm.
their confidence. They
Yeah.
win. Like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. There's hope. They breed this confidence. What does it do to the person who lost? Lost a bit of confidence. Even though they're winning,
Yep.
they lost a bit of confidence because the way they perceived it. They're now winning. And then how many times have we seen the origin where it just, the whole point's changed in the last 10 minutes of the game because it's just try after try after try after try. And we're like, how this is the most craziest game ever?
Yeah.
Because what happens when we win, we produce more dopamine receptors in our brain.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the confidence chemical.
Yeah.
Right? People, other things that release dopamine, it's like drugs, gambling, sex, our phone, these things that are highly addictive. So what happens when we win, it produces more and it stacks.
Yeah.
And we take more action, we take more confidence. But the crap thing is when we lose dopamine receptors.
That's it.
And then we start to become less confident, less belief. Now, the awesome and crap thing about all this is that who determines whether we win or not? Us.
Exactly.
It's how we perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing, how I start my day every single day is with utmost excitement.
Yeah.
And I look outside the door and I'm like, holy fuck, I won.
Yeah.
I won today because I'm alive. Whereas so many other people could wake up and they're like, oh, they're going to work today. I'm losing.
And exactly. Worry about all the things on their to-do list and what they've got to do. And
yeah. So I consciously look for ways to recognize and be like, oh my God, I won. I find 5 cents on the floor. Oh my God, I won 5 cents. I got this. Oh my God, I'm winning. And the more I recognize I'm actually on a winning streak, it's just weird. But the more I win.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. I mean, it is an absolute inner game because, you know as well as I do as well, you've got to start with yourself first because you're fighting a losing battle when it comes to sometimes other people out there in the world, let's just call them normal people. They don't get it, right? They don't get your dreams. They don't get your vision. They don't get why you're doing things. They look at you like you're a foreign creature, like you're doing something different. And they're like, what? You didn't leave the house today. You just worked on your laptop and you don't have a boss telling you what to do. Like what? That doesn't make sense to me, right? And so how do you deal with, once you've mastered that sort of inner game, how does that affect the way that you relate to perhaps others? Say, for instance, there's someone where they don't know any other entrepreneurs. They don't know anyone in their family that's ever done anything like this before. Yet they've just stuck up their hand and said, you know what, I want something different in my life and I'm going to give this a go. But they might feel like the whole world is kind of against them, or at least their world and their inner circle. So what are some of the things that have really helped you along in your journey when it comes to really embodying that success and that inner game to help with the outer world?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing, like if you've got a vision, if you've got a dream, it's given to you for a reason. That's why we've got it. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
And for so many people, they think that they have to live someone else's life. It's just crazy. Like it is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But there's so many things in this, but mainly the biggest thing I challenge people to look at is look at how you're judging other people. Because so often how we perceive others are judging us is because we're projecting that and we think. So if we're looking, and I'm only saying this because I did this. One of my biggest things for so long is like, what are they going to think of me? And I just asked myself, I was actually at a Tony Robbins event. I said, why do I care so much? Like, why am I scared to get the microphone? Why am I scared to share? Oh, because all these people, they're going to think. And then I'm like, why am I thinking that? Because I'm judging every person that gets up. I said, you know what I mean? So then I just think that that's what everybody does. But until I switched it, and whenever I saw anyone taking courageous action, I would look for admiration in them. Like, wow, look at that. Or I look for something I like about them, something I admire about them. Like, that's so incredible. And it's so fucking crazy. What happens is now I really think that everyone does that to me.
Yeah.
They might. I don't know if they do. But the biggest thing is I don't care if they do.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing is kind of really like, because whatever we're doing, we think is happening the whole all around us. The second thing I'll say is stop looking for the approval of other people.
Yeah.
What's the word? That like cripples most people.
Totally.
What's the word I'm trying to say? I forget the word. It's you become like reliant on. So like there's things like we need oxygen. If you took all the oxygen out of the room, I would die.
Yeah.
I need it. If you took away all the food, like I need food. If you took away all the water, I need water. I need to sleep. I need to do these things.
Yeah.
But if you took away all the approval of everybody, I like it. Don't get me wrong. This is the biggest thing. I love approval. I love when I speak on stage, everybody claps and they're like, this is amazing. I love when people come up to me and say, oh my God, your podcast has changed my life. Or the thing you said, this is amazing. Or I did that thing you were telling me about, it's changed. I love that. It's amazing, but I don't need it. And so often people are trying to do things to get the approval of other people. And sooner or later, they'll realize that like it was nothing, and they'll actually get taken off course of what they truly want, their true north, because they're trying to get the approval of other people. So the biggest thing I'd sort of just say is to really find out how can you just be so content with yourself and your own actions, because at the end of the day, you're the only person you need to make happy.
Yeah.
And I literally had somebody yesterday, I said to somebody, I had a photo in a Lamborghini on the weekends. Anyway, I was in a Lambo on the weekend, and I said, look at this. This is the Lambo I just bought. I said, nah, just kidding. Not yet. She goes, oh my God, you're such a freaking loser if you bought a Lamborghini. I think you're such a loser. I said, hey, thanks, because you're now one less person that would ever get a ride in my Lambo. and we were joking, and she's like, no, but seriously, I think it's such like a douchebag car. I said, cool, it probably isn't a car you should buy then, right?
Yeah.
And she was really trying to put this onto me like that, trying to persuade me to think that I'm not going to get her approval if I was to get a Lambo. And I'm like, don't care about it. I'm not doing it for anyone. I want to get it for me, because I just think having a Lambo would be pretty fun. And I wouldn't know until I buy one. I might buy it and want to sell it in a month and be like, I actually didn't like it. But you never going to know until you try.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing. People get stuck because they're trying to get the approval of other people, where if they can just find it amongst themselves and just be like, and just, why are you doing this? Like, what is the main thing you're trying to do? And then you're never going to get like suffocated by not getting it from other people. When you do get it, it's like, oh, this is great. It feels great, but you don't need it.
Exactly.
Like, I think Elon Musk tweeted the day after he became the richest person in the world. Somebody tweeted, Elon Musk just become the richest person in the world. And he responded to them, oh, that's cool. Back to work.
Yeah. I love that.
He's not doing it. He's not doing it to become, like, to get his approval. He's not. That wasn't a celebration for him. He's chasing impact. He's chasing things that just legacy, like changing the freaking world.
Yeah.
But if I could kind of describe it in like a bit of an image, I remember there was this. The biggest thing that really changed for me was in the beginning. It was really like I was trying to convince people to buy into my vision.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like, you should do this. The reality is, like, most people don't. Most people just want to do their thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is how it was. It was like I was climbing up a fence. I was peeking my eyes over the fence.
Yeah.
And I could see a world in color. And back over here, everyone's living in black and gray. The world that I grew up in, black and gray, and that's all that they know.
Yeah.
And I'm on this fence, and I see color, and I'm like, holy crap. Then I'm reaching back over my shoulder, telling everyone, guys, come, let's go. You gotta come. This is freaking crazy. There's like pink and blue and shit over here. Like, you wouldn't even believe it. And they're like, what's pink and blue? You're insane. That's crazy. That can't ever happen. And then they're trying to yell and talk me down, or that's not gonna work. Trying to pull me off the fence, right? All this stuff. But it wasn't until the day I just went, I don't give a fuck who comes with me.
Yeah.
And I just went forward, and I climbed over the fence, and it's like I landed. And then as soon as I decided, it's like the first climb up was so high, because it's like I was stuck trying to bring people with me. And as soon as I decided that I'm going with or without you, and I know that over here there's probably going to be people that are living in color that love color.
Yeah.
And it's like I land on the ground on the other side. I'm like, this is amazing. And then people come up to me on the other side of the fence, and they're like, I always knew you could do it. That was incredible. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, you've got to be willing to lose a lot of social esteem in order to get it all back plus more in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just having the balls, being afraid to possibly be disliked. But you got to understand, they're not disliking you. They're not disliking your decisions. What they're disliking is that you make them feel inadequate because they're too scared to pursue their dreams. And that's not your problem.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I couldn't have put it better myself. I love that analogy of climbing the fence because that's exactly how it feels like. And, when you're talking there about, at the Tony Robbins event, when you feel like you were, judging other people naturally, I mean, we're all humans, right? This is something that we all deal with and we all go through. It's just the ones that are successful, the ones that learn how to harness that and really
Mm,
focus and stay consistent and disciplined towards their vision and their goals and essentially are able to block out the rest. So I absolutely love that. And I think it comes up a lot when it comes to starting to share on social media and really starting to put yourself out there and say, I'm now a business owner, or I'm now a coach, or I'm now a consultant. And that's when people sort of think, oh, what will people think of me? And in the end, people are actually more likely to want to support you than not. At least that was my experience in the beginning as well. So I think you raise a couple of really great points there as well. And I'd
and I
love,
think if
yeah,
people come from a space of like a real tangible kind of advice right now, if you're listening,
yeah,
that's not mindset and everything. It's like if you actually just share why you're doing what you're doing
yeah,
and you share the vulnerability around it, it takes a really shit person to bring you down when you're being vulnerable.
yeah.
So what I found, I've always kind of led from a space of that, and I'm like, look, yeah, this might not be for you, and you might not agree with, it, but you know what? I'm just personally really sick of being treated like shit all the time at work.
Hmm.
I'm just over not being able to afford to take me and my girlfriend to a nice dinner. And then people are like, nah, good on you, man. You're doing good. You know what I mean? You diffuse it.
Yeah.
So it's only when people come from a space of trying to be like, I'm better than you because I'm a business owner and I'm chasing my dreams and you should too. No, that is how you get disliked.
Yeah.
You come from a space of
You gotta be human.
sharing why,
You gotta be
yeah,
human.
share why you're doing it, have some fun, and what you'll do is, and if you are coming from a space of you want to empower people,
Mhm.
stop trying to empower people and just do it yourself because your actions will empower them so much more than your words ever will.
Love that. Love that. And you touched on it earlier as well in terms of the importance of like finding someone who's actually gone and done what you want to do, gotten the results from it, and then can teach you the shortcuts. So what role has coaching and mentoring played, in your journey throughout?
It's massive. I've always had somebody. I have like five different people. I'm sitting with one of my mentors at his house right now because we just had lunch together. I'm like, I need to do this interview when I come back.
Yeah.
Um, I have a whole bunch of people that I can continually call and get feedback from. That's the biggest thing. I'm always seeking feedback.
Yeah.
Not, I'm not wanting the shortcuts that in that per se.
Yeah.
Yes, if you get a business coach, it's like, hey, coach me how to do it properly. That's the shortcuts. But I'm not wanting to have everything laid out. It's like, do da, da, da. But I'm always looking for feedback. It's like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm thinking. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
What would you do differently? How, and this, once again, lowering the ego. Like, there's people that know so much more than you out here and just take their advice. But it's the biggest thing. Is the biggest thing because, you are who you hang around. That's another thing I was going to say before. It's
Yeah.
actually a lot easier to break away from the north, the black and gray living over here and go to color when you're associating with people in color.
Yeah.
Because what starts to become really weird, your perception of normal changes when you're hanging out with people in the color land, and then someone from the black and gray land comes in, you're kind of like, this is odd,
Yeah.
right? But the other way around, when you're in the black and gray, it's like, oh, they're weird. They think they're better than us. But the color people, well, I've always found, and they're always more likely to be like, hey, come here, come check this out.
Mm.
They're more loving. They're more like, and it's quite easy to when you're hanging around winners. It's quite easy to kind of not care about that noise.
Yeah.
It's only when you're still around them and you're trying to do that's just it's you're on a level go to a whole new place. You get around people that are doing it, and getting a coach, getting a mentor is the first place to start.
Hmm.
Because you're going to be around a really good, powerful source. They're going
Absolutely.
to be able to give you some great knowledge and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's played a huge role, and an
Mm.
absolute freaking huge role. But I've always got a coach or a mentor or someone I'm working with, in different areas as well.
Yeah.
So I think trying to do it on our own is just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I love how you used to say, put the ego to one side because, I've spoken to some people before and, their perception is that having a coach or mentor means that you're not capable of doing it yourself or you just can't do it yourself. And it's
It's a
absolutely,
limiting belief.
yeah, totally. It's just about, being able to leverage of someone else's perspective, experience, expertise, like you said, to give you that feedback because we've all got blind spots, we've all got
Hmm.
strengths and weaknesses. And it's like, essentially putting all the pieces of the puzzle, in this game that we call business to get the end result that we want to get. And a coach and mentor can really help us to do that. So I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's shining the light on the blind spot.
Yeah.
Things like you look at all you gotta do, like, and
And
there's
it's,
people.
and it's bloody uncomfortable sometimes too. Just putting
Yeah,
that.
but I love that. I
But that's
love the
exactly
uncomfort
right. You got to
because
be
it's the only way you get to grow. Because I know when I'm really uncomfortable,
yeah,
I'm like, this is testing, this is growing me. I love growth. So
yeah.
I did an ecstatic dancing the other day, this with the cacao ceremony, so out of my comfort zone. So I
Yeah.
was like, that's why I'm going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was gonna be a static dance. Still think it's really freaking strange. But I was
It's
there, I was like, oh
happening.
my god, this
So yes.
oh man. For me, I was just like, what is going on? Um I forget what I was gonna say now. What were we saying before this?
Oh, I don't know. Talk about cacao now. Yeah. No, I'm just
I
talking about
forget.
getting uncomfortable and that classic saying of you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Otherwise
Mm,
you just stay the same. If not, you reverse backwards and that's not what you want to be either. So like what is it in you that, you sort of switched up the perception of it is what I just heard there, where you said like you actually are excited to be uncomfortable because it means you're growing.
hmm Yeah, like it was what you make it mean. Like we're meaning making machines. We make everything mean everything, right? So we can look at things that make us uncomfortable, and we can look at it and be like, oh my god, this means I suck.
Mm-hmm.
It could mean that if you make it mean that.
Yeah.
Or it could also mean, oh my God, what an amazing opportunity for me to grow and become stronger, smarter, better, more intelligent, and more wealthy.
Yeah, totally.
You know? So like I was thinking about on the way here actually, like I'm always living in the unknown zone. So we've got three areas. We've got the comfort zone, where everything's boring and everything
Predictable.
sucks there.
Yeah.
It's just mundane.
Yeah.
Then you got the uncomfort zone, which is getting spicy.
Mm-hmm.
The unknown zone is complete uncertainty and not having to worry about what's happening. Just going with I have no idea what could happen, what is going to be. I have no attachment to it, rolling with it, and then making a judgment, making an assumption, and a view based on your experience
Totally. Yeah.
versus based on what you think it is, what it might be, someone else said.
Mhm.
Just go and do it. And
Yeah.
like I love that. Like we've had lunch, and Alan said to me,
Yeah.
what do you want to eat?" I said, "I don't know. Just give me anything." It surprised me. I
Mhm.
don't want to. I don't care. It's gonna be one meal in my day. I'm gonna have another one in another hour, And if I don't like it, I won't order it again. And it's just so many people get so fixated on the mundane and their certainty. They need
Mhm.
certainty, but you're never gonna have certainty in business.
Yeah.
You're gonna have certainty if you want anything. You just gotta take the risk and be willing to kind of jump off the ledge
Mhm.
and just hope that the parachute opens.
Exactly. Exactly. I like to say, the uncomfort zone is sort of jumping when you know you've got a parachute on your back and you're hoping that it opens. And then the unknown zone is just jumping off with no parachute, jumping off a cliff and hoping there's a net underneath there to catch you.
Hmm.
So it's really
Yeah,
important.
because worst case scenario there isn't, and you won't know anyway. So who really cares? Like no one's getting out of here alive. So like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what's next for you, Morgan? I mean, I know you've had this massive journey and really a lot of growth in business from a young age, financially free at 23. Most people at that stage will be like, "Oh, sweet! I'll put my feet up on the couch, or watch a bit of Netflix. I'll just, hang around, maybe buy a Lamborghini." Like, what is driving you now? Like, you've reached a level of success. What is that next level for you?
well, I want to this year's focused on having my first seven-figure year. So
Yeah,
it's tapping into multiple businesses now, multiple income streams. Because one income's great. Like when I was financially free, it sounds fantastic on paper, and for most people, it'd actually be great. It'd be fantastic. But I'm not most people. I want to suck the juice of life. I want to do really epic things. I
yeah.
want to give a lot of money away. I want to help a lot of people. I want to do a lot of cool shit. I need a lot of money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really focusing on multiple income streams now and creating out more passive income streams and teaching more people just the things I do know and helping more people.
Yeah,
So that's always the primary focus because if you just look at how many more people you can help, you'll make more money. Um, but in terms of creation, obviously, I'm coming to my 1 year, my podcast anniversary in
oh,
May, I believe, or June.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's gone really good. So um, that was the first step of really kind of getting my whole brand out there. So instead of just me as a network marketer, it's
yeah.
like me as this message, this brand, this vision
Mm.
of what we want to create, which is just self development for young people.
Great.
And that's just where we're going. And I'm creating a YouTube. right now. So that's going to be getting started and really kind of tapping into a lot more speaking.
Awesome.
So that's kind of the main thing, actually doing a lot more speaking at schools and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then long term, this is all stacking things for the big thing. And the big thing I'm going to be creating is just my whole message of Dream Out Loud, which would be like Dream Out Loud Education, which is just going to be a platform for
Yeah.
people to tap into no matter where you are and be able to get modules and training courses and stuff on some of the best stuff that they should have been teaching us in school,
Totally.
taught from some of the best people in the world.
Yeah.
So that's the mission.
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. And I know people listening to this, there's so many gems that you shared. So thank you so much for your time today. I know I'll really enjoy listening back to this as well because there's so much gold in this episode. So for people that have really enjoyed this and want to connect with you further, where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place to get me is just on Instagram at Morgan T Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And then my podcast is Dreaming Out Loud. And then or on my website, morgantnelson.com. That will be up and running actually in a couple of weeks. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan. It's been an absolute pleasure. And let's not leave it this long next time. I'll probably catch you in Hawaii another time for another retreat.
I'm down. I can't wait. I can't wait. Legend. Thanks for having me.